Hey guys, it's Eric here and this is my Nokia 1.4 unboxing and review. The packaging is pretty familiar, all the specs are on the back, it slides out to open, we have the smartphone wrapped in plastic, let's take out the sticker on the front. This is the charcoal color, it also comes in fjord and dusk. Tightly sealed separately, we have the SIM ejection tool. In the bottom compartment, we have a get started guide, product and safety in multiple languages. We can see all the 4G LTE bands supported here. As usual, Nokia supports the infamous Glo 4G band 28. We have a transparent TPU case. This case simply sucks. They give it a tiny bit of resivity in the front but messed it all up at the back. You had one job. How is the camera bump still unprotected? You have a screen protector already applied. I advise you take it out and use a glass one instead. Tucked away is the 5 watts charger. Yikes. A micro USB cable and Nokia's proprietary earphone. This one actually has no button to receive calls or pause and play music. On the front you have a 6.52-inch HD Plus IPS LCD display with 20:9 aspect ratio. On top of that display you have a water drop notch that houses a 5 megapixel camera. On the back you have an 8 megapixel dual camera setup with flash, a fingerprint sensor and a backfiring speaker. On the left, you have a dedicated Google Assistant button and a SIM tray that houses two 4G LTE nano SIMs and an SD card. On the right, you have a power button and volume rocker. On the top, you have a 3.5mm headphone jack, and on the bottom, you have a microphone and micro USB port. The design of the Nokia 1.4 is pretty understated. Nokia's classic circular camera bump sticks out a little bit. Plastic back and frame melted together to give it a near unibody design. Diagonal lines across the back that you can actually feel just to add to the grip. It won't win any awards for design, but it certainly is not ugly. For its size, it's neither heavy nor light. On the front, we get that old school look with chubby bezels and a chin big enough to house that Nokia logo. The display has average viewing angles and you will struggle to see anything under direct sunlight. Aside all of that, the colors don't look all that crispy or accurate. Clearly, not all HD IPS LCD displays are the same, but it is not something you will notice until you put it side by side with another phone. My review unit comes with 32 gigs of storage and 2 gigs of RAM. You get about 26 gigs of available storage. It's shipped with Android 10 Go edition. As you probably know, we get very little bloatware on stock Android and the interface is as clean as it gets. You get only a few light versions, aka Go apps, but the rest of them like YouTube, Files and Gmail are full version apps. Android 11 has not been pushed as at the time of publishing this video, but I'll be leaving an update in my pinned comment when we do get an update. On the downside, some features like split screen and swipe gesture navigation are missing on the Go edition. It also shows this weird list of running apps rather than using picture cards, all to keep things running smoothly. In terms of performance, this uses the Snapdragon 215 quad-core CPU clocked at 1.3 GHz. It's an entry-level chipset that actually takes a long time to open your everyday social media apps, and even while open, it is not a smooth experience. Doing stuff like stories straight from those apps will leave you recording videos with delayed audio. It is no good for TikTokers. People feel like they've gamed the system when they buy a Snapdragon-powered phone for cheap, but this is not one of those powerful processors. This is the type of phone that requires you to forget all about Chrome browser and stick to Opera Mini instead. Chrome will not only be slower to use, but you will discover that your tabs never stay open. Fingerprint sensor is pretty accurate, but it is not all that fast, and for this price range, I can't actually complain. Face Unlock only worked once after a dozen attempts outdoors. It never worked indoors, so don't bother setting it up. Here's how the speaker compares side by side the TECNO Spark 5 Pros. This phone is not ideal for games like PUBG, and I played PUBG Lite thinking it would be better, but the gameplay and graphics look so terrible. The good thing about playing PUBG Lite is that most people who do use low-end or entry-level phones and they won't smoke you so easily. On the flip side, this phone can play the full version of PUBG as good as the Helio A22 does, but the beating I got was too disgraceful to share. It is prone to heating under this kind of pressure, so I guess in the end it's not actually as powerful as the Helio A22 chip as seen on Versus.com. About battery life, it comes with a 4000 mAh battery, which is average for 2021, but as long as you're doing what this phone is meant for, like I did in my own test, you'll be fine for the whole day. Playing PUBG Lite for only 30 minutes, 3 hours on Instagram, 2 hours on Facebook and YouTube, 1 hour on Twitter, etc. gave me 11 hours of screen on time with 8% left to spare. Those are respectable numbers, but that's only because I didn't put it through our standard test of up to 4 hours of PUBG gameplay. It took me 4 hours and 15 minutes for a full charge. I tested it with the fast charger, not the shitty one that came in the box. Either way, charging this phone takes way too long and it does not support fast charging. The Nokia 1.4 comes with that new Camera Go app as its default camera, and it's quite interesting how it's adapted to look like Gcam. That is Google Pixel camera for those of you who don't know. Let's see some photos. The selfie camera outdoors is just so terrible. Wow. Wait, let me be professional. This is exactly the low camera quality to expect from entry-level phones. It has a brownish tint to it and it looks pixelated when cropped in. Portrait mode for the selfie camera is a miss or miss, never ever a hit. As for the primary camera, it is overprocessed and skin tones kinda look orangey. I prefer it to the selfie camera shot, but you need to learn how to use Snapseed or other editing apps to tweak this saturated mess. Portrait mode for the primary lens is also a miss or miss. There is no hardware for depth sensing, that makes sense. Using this camera outdoors will be a challenge for anyone who remotely takes photos. There are some HDR settings, but pictures always come out poorly when it comes to dynamic range. That second camera is actually a macro lens and I'm surprised that the results are not terrible. Wait till you see it in video mode. Indoors, this camera did not disappoint me as much as it did in the outdoor shots. The selfie camera isn't too washed out, and with the primary camera, skin tones actually look nicer than it does on some more expensive phones that I've reviewed. Screen flash is redundant as can be expected. It shoots videos in 1080p from the primary camera and 720p from the secondary lens. So this is the front-facing camera of the Nokia 1.4 shooting in 720p, and here's what the audio sounds like. The Nokia 1.4 is supposed to be a floor-priced phone, and HMD Global put a little bit of an effort to include the likes of a fingerprint sensor on the back and a design that isn't ugly to look at. Aside all that, this isn't the fastest phone that this budget can buy. That would be the Vivo Y1S, which comes with the Helio P35 chipset. Yep, same one on the Galaxy A12. Sadly, it does not come with a fingerprint sensor. There's also the Redmi 9A with a faster octa-core Helio G25 chipset, which sells at a lower price point, but again, no fingerprint sensor. None of the better performing alternatives are guaranteed Android 11 updates like the Nokia 1.4 does. Honestly, I still wouldn't recommend you buy the Nokia 1.4 for a kid or young teenager as their first phone ever, because raw performance trumps a fingerprint sensor and the latest Android version any day. Only people who absolutely cannot live without those two perks should consider buying this phone. The Nokia 1.4 is priced at 42,890 Naira, which converts to $90 and you can purchase yours on Jumia. I'll be leaving a link in the description box. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and share it. Also follow me on Twitter and Instagram to see what I'm up to. Please subscribe for more videos like this as it will mean a lot to me, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.